Well guys, it's the video you didn't want me to make. So, if you think looking after yourself is cringe, you have my permission to skip this video. I won't judge you. Now they're gone, we can get into the video. So, you've chosen to live life on hard difficulty. Between the constant maintenance, the risk of getting pulled around in a fight, and the harassment, it's bizarre that so many of us choose to grow our hair. But hair is not purely functional, it's an extension of oneself, an expression of who you are. Whether you're a woman, a dude rocking the Jesus aesthetic, somewhere in between, or even beyond, you can probably agree that having to put a motorcycle helmet on top of all of that is a truly miserable experience. Not only are you tearing your locks straight out of your head, but the fact that they are enclosed in a confined space with little ventilation means that you are thrusting some serious chaos on your hair and scalp oil balance. You may be asking yourself, how is this whole ass dude gonna know anything about long hair? Well, I've had long hair since I was 18, and I've been wearing full face helmets for longer. First on my mountain bike, then when I started riding motorcycles in 2018 until I started delivering pizzas 2 years ago. That stuff puts your hair through some serious abuse. And the fact that I still have as much hair as I do, as healthy as it is quite frankly a miracle. I see plenty of riders putting their hair through unnecessary torture, and I need it to stop. So please, if you care about your hair at all, just sit through the video. It'll be helpful, I promise. Let's start with hygiene. Sounds straightforward enough, right? Wrong. Everything you know about your hair routine is wrong from the second you put a helmet over your head. Normally, you should probably only be washing your hair with water weekly for the best nourishment of your hair. But when you wear a helmet, your routine needs to start resembling that of an Olympic athlete. First, let's give some quick attention to your helmet. Do not let it stew in your sweat all year. You should be cleaning it out at least once per season, inside and out. Anything else you wear under your helmet, we'll get to that later, should be washed fortnightly at least. Now, back to your hair. I found that with my hair type and weak skin, wet shampooing twice a week with T-gel is a sweet spot. You may need to do some experimenting, but you should notice that you need to increase the frequency of using wet shampoo and decrease the strength of it. Try to avoid doing the typical block maneuver and use million-in-one type product. It's not going to be good at any of those million things that it claims it's good at. Instead, you should aim to shampoo your roots, rinse, wring hair, condition the rest of your hair, wait a bit, rinse again, and then wring dry. You'd be surprised how many people don't actually know how to wash their hair because we were simply never taught properly. Normally, that's because of the old boys can't have long hair thing. Now your shower's done, don't forget to dry, and then moisturize your hair, not the scalp. I prefer to air dry and moisturize with Moroccan oil hydrating styling cream. That's a mouthful, I know. But apparently it's been scientifically proven that hair drying on a low heat is actually better. I can't remember the link to this paper is, so honestly you can take or leave this one. As long as you aren't scrubbing your hair with a towel, you should be good. Oh yeah, do all of this during the day while you don't have to put a helmet on. You really don't want to sleep or ride with wet hair. While we're on the subject of moisturization, remember to brush your hair at least once daily. I use a wet brush, not actually while it's wet, to get the knots out of my ends first, and then go from my scalp down to the ends to get all the nutrients from the scalp to evenly coat everything. Remember to wash your brush, and during the week if your ends get dry from all those 0 to 100 pulls, just moisturize with a bit of hair oil. Argan oil is my pick. Now that we've learned how to not be a filthy slob, let's discuss the actual logistics of putting your hair under your helmet. First thing you should do is buy a balaclava. Even if you don't have long hair, buy one. Not only are you lubricating the space between your hair and the helmet lining, you also look cooler, can stay warmer with a winter one, and can stay anonymous if you get caught on a CCTV murdering a moped thief. And now that drill music is mainstream, you can get balaclavas to fit any occasion. I know some guys and girls like to show off their hair on the bike, or hate having to have the neck covered. For you lot, I recommend either using a neck tube thingy or a bandana. Now that your hair has a bit of relief from being pulled, it's time to consider what hairstyle you want in there. It's safe to say that if you're looking to maintain any kind of volume on your way to a night out or a date, you're shit out of luck. But if you're fine with looking a bit silly, there's a few things you can try. If you have a fringe, keep that thing pulled under the balaclava. Believe me, there's nothing more annoying than having your emo fringe poke your eyes, nostrils and mouth while you sweat your absolute tits off and can't move it out of your way for dozens of miles. Ask me how I know. If you have relatively even length hair that sticks far out of your helmet, you may try pulling a spike from Miami Noob and tie your hair into a low pony or bun. I would recommend against this. Not only is it absolute garbage for you when you want to get into a full tug whilst wearing a backpack, it's also not great for your hairline. Luckily, I have a fairly resilient hair genetic, so when I tried this, my hair didn't recede. However, I did notice significantly more hair fall, slight thinning, and more pain at the front of my scalp. Also, you subject your hair to significant breakage this way due to the way the forces are transmitted across your your hair. Ever look at those silly looking flyaway hairs on Spite's head? Yeah, if you use this technique, that will also be what your hair looks like. It's up to you, but I advise against this style. Another method that gets recommended by female bikers and horse riders is the classic braid. This requires some skill and practice to execute, but many of us will just pass on this because it's too difficult, myself included. It is, however, the single best way to keep your hair under control at speeds above 40 bars an hour, all the way up to 100 and beyond. There's many ways you can go about this, but all of them effectively reduce the space under your helmet and can drag a lot. My sister, who recently took up riding, tried this method, and the first thing she noticed is how painful it was to wear a helmet and how much hair was actually getting pulled out. There is a better way, the way nature intended. Leave your damn hair alone. It's supposed to just flap around in the wind and get tangled. Funnily enough, when each hair is not pulling on any other hair, you get the least amount of tension. Who'd have thunk it? You can try and avoid the tangling by keeping your hair under your clothing and jacket. I would say to only reserve this for wet weather, as this can lead to some tugging on your scalp, and getting your hair wet is probably not so great for your hair either. Yep, the absolute best method is to just let your hair fly out in the wind. Of course, even better would be to just cut your hair above your shoulders, but it's up to you whether this is a sacrifice you want to make for practicality. No matter what approach you take, just remember you're better off flexing the Johnny Sins drip. And to be honest, I might not even be keeping my long hair that long anymore, because my medication, I've been on steroid creams since like the age of 13, so my entire life I've been completely fucked up on steroid creams, and it's gotten to the point where I'm completely dependent on them, and I'm trying to slowly wean myself off of it. But yeah, if you see me rocking the Johnny Sins drip soon, you'll know why. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.